All right, hello and welcome to episode 62 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I'm your co-host, Juan Martinez, and to my left or to my right, it's the technical expertise of Jacques Slade trying to work the mics.
Technical expertise, because I'm a technical expert, I think is what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Either that or he's making very mean jokes about me. Either way,
No, I'm not. How
it's
dare
fine.
you? How dare you?
How dare I insinuate that you were saying something mean? Welcome to the show, everyone. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week or a fantastic weekend, whichever time it is you decide to watch the show. Got some good stuff for you today. A little bit of drama that's really not drama, and I'm really like over the drama kind of thing. But we'll get into all that. I don't want to spoil it for you too early. But yeah, I'll let Juan take it away from here.
So anyways, we'll get to the drama in a little bit, but I just want to talk about like the weekend that was. Jacques, so I was in Vegas this past weekend, and I sent you a picture that I thought would be of interest to you. It just so happened that at the same time as stuff was going around, we managed to also catch like the opening of the F1 merch store in Vegas. So all
cool.
of like the collabs, all of the stuff that's going around, the races and all that stuff was going down at the Venetian. And they had a lot of big things. They had like Snoopy team up, Disney, like mostly Mickey Mouse and like Hello Kitty. And shout out to the fine folks at the F1 store. There was a huge line just to get in. It reminded me of like, a sneaker camp out because people were like just waiting to get in. Because of reasons, we were able to cut the line.
Because of reasons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I get it. Right. No, yeah.
So shout out to the fine folks at the F1 store who allowed us to cut through that line. Because man, that was a bit of a stretch. Because have you ever been to the Venetian? There's canal shops where it's kind of like across the rivers, and it just stretches out to a very long line. I thought to myself, man, there's no way we're getting in. But again, shout out to the F1 folks. One of the things that I did on my own was just hop on the monorail, because you got to go through like the Sphere. You could kind of see like the track being built for the F1 race as well. So I got to see some of that. And then we passed by the Westgate, which is like the former Hilton Hotel. I noticed something while I was passing through. I just saw a sign and I was like, wait a minute, that looks familiar. And it turns out it's the old sign for the Star Trek The Experience, which we talked about like on the show previously, which was basically a themed kind of ride show presentation of all like Star Trek, basically like recreation of Star Trek. That was on the Hilton for a very long time. Like, I don't know what year really shut down, but that old sign is still there. It's just hidden behind the monorail entrance. And it's just kind of buried deep. But for whatever reason, they never took it down. It's still up there, but the sign is faded. And I was like, oh, I got to take a picture of this for Jacques. I was like, I got off the monorail and I was like, snap. And then got back on in the next boarding again. I was like, oh, hey, look, there it is.
Yeah, but very sad looking.
Yeah. But I got to say, though, I mean, it's just one of those neat pieces of like, whatever history of like Vegas. Like there's still parts of like old Vegas that's not completely gone, because when you go there now, it's very much new Vegas. Everything's just I think the Mirage is being torn down, and now it's going to be like a Hard Rock Cafe hotel or something. Like all these last bits of like what we used to remember, what like in the 90s and like the early 2000s as like before Vegas became like the tagline of like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, all that stuff. Like the Real World, when it first showed up in Vegas, that's when people really started paying attention to like, oh, this is the place where like young people could get their debauchery on and all that stuff, right? And so all those old vestiges are kind of gone. Circus is still around, which is kind of neat. It's like, oh, that old junky place that no one really goes to anymore. But I'm glad it's still there. I'm kind of glad that it's still there. It's like, please don't go away. Just let's not ruin this old piece of old Vegas for us. Like, just find a way to survive. Find a way to survive.
Yeah,
Circus.
It's still there, but it's very scary looking, especially Circus. It's like,
exactly. It's nice that it's there, but I'm not stepping foot in there anymore.
Yeah. Now you gotta carry a disinfectant wipe with you everywhere you go in Circus.
Exactly. Like the Stratosphere is like rebranded as the Strat, and I was like, oh, okay, nice. trying to change things up a little bit, but you're still like that tall
Yeah,
tower that no one really goes to. But yeah, man, like it's just
basically.
fun to go to Vegas every once in a while just to see what's going on there. But it's the first time I've been there for an F1 when they've actually started prepping for the race, and you see the grandstands where they're supposed to be. The
Yeah.
Bellagio, the fountain is blocked off because they've got like the fancy rich people grandstands that I'm sure you're going to be there for the coming race next weekend. But yeah, no, it's good times, except for the part that, it can be a little bit traffic's kind of been rerouted a little bit just because of the race and all that.
Yeah, I was there last year during the F1 build out, and you could see like it basically takes over the strip and makes it almost impossible if you're just there visiting and you're not really there for F1. Vegas
Yeah.
is pretty much miserable during that build up until the race. Like really have to be like mentally like prepared to do that because it's going to be inconvenient. Everything's going
Oh
to be
yeah.
super inconvenient. But, it brings the city a ton of money, so I guess there's
Oh yeah.
there's the win for somebody's winning, just not the consumer.
No.
And hopefully the prices are better this year. I know last year the prices were insane, and a lot of that stuff was left open. Like people didn't go just because it was too expensive. And so hopefully this year they're pricing it better so people can have people can afford to actually go and see the race in person.
Yeah, I've heard people say like it's actually cheaper to go to a different country and watch the race there than just go to
Yeah.
Vegas and go to like one of the fancier ticket packages. And I look at the tickets for the race now and I'm like, yeah, man, like it's within the range of like, I could handle it, but at the same time, just because of how familiar I am with Vegas, it just seems like it's so inconvenient to get around.
Yep.
Like if especially if you stay on the strip, it's like it's almost not worth it just because of like the headache. And also I think part of for me, the appeal of F1 is being able to go to like a different place, like a different part of the world and see like,
Yeah.
oh, no, it's in Paris or it's in Spain or it's in, the Netherlands or whatever. Like I've never imagined going there, but now that I see where they are, the track is, I'm like, oh, maybe someday. Or in Japan or
Yeah.
something, or like in Singapore. Like it's like you just have these thoughts of like, but when it's in America, like it's in Miami or it's in Texas or it's in Vegas, you're like, it's America. Like I
Yeah.
know what America looks like. The
Yeah, yeah,
appeal is
I
kind
know what
of
this yeah, I know what this experience is going to be.
I know what the deal is.
Yeah.
So like, I would like the first time I go to an actual F1 race, it would be experience is entirely new. Where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, everything about it is so different compared to like what it would be like if I just went to Vegas. Cause it's like, oh, it's a couple hour drive or, a short, hop a flight or whatever. But once you get there, it's like, well, it's Vegas and there's just fast cars going by. I'm like, I know the strip. I've seen it before many, many
Right.
times. It's kind of like
Yep.
a little bit of the appeal is gone. I get it for everybody else who's coming in from like across the world to come to Vegas. I'm sure it's like really hype for them. But for us locals, it's like,
Yeah, if
I
you've
know
never
this.
experienced never experienced it, I get it. Like
Yeah.
that first time going to Vegas is an experience for everyone. But it's so close to us here in LA that there were some times in college when we would go like 2 or 3 times during the summer just to
Mhm.
go, literally just to go party, stay one night and come back home the next morning. Like it's that close for us. So it's not, I think I'm a little bit jaded when I think about Vegas just because I was there. We've been there so much and so often. So yeah, but I get it. It's a fun place. F1 stakes its claim on the city and makes it hard even for like the locals. Like the locals already have to deal with tourists from everywhere. Now they've got to deal with fences and you can't drive here, you can't drive there. It
Yep.
makes it challenging. But again, you get the race in your city and you get to see it up close, which is cool.
Yeah.
100% cool.
But yeah, let's move on to the show, Jacques. Let's talk about Stephen Smith. He's got he's been in a bit of the news lately. Legendary designer, recently worked with
Legendary.
Kanye. Yes, of course.
Yep.
I mean, he's got his imprint everywhere. Nike, New Balance, Reebok, Fila, even like a cup of coffee with Adidas before he worked on the Yeezy stuff. Of course, with Kanye. Now he's on his own. But yeah, no, he's had a lot of things to say in the media lately, but the thing that I wanted to talk about today was him calling out Nike For their release of, I guess like their what is this the Ekiden pack? Is this yearly or is this like a
Ex-
seasonal thing?
I think it's
Um,
yearly.
yeah. So for those who don't know, the Nike, I guess it's Ekiden pack, which is basically like in honor of like this trail run, trail walk that takes place in Japan over like a course of a couple of days. So they released this pack of running shoes, or training shoes, running shoes. And what they've done for the past couple of years is base it off like a classic silhouette from the past. So this year they decided that they would go, create like this basically like a collection of sneakers, like runners that are based on a Steven Smith design, which is like the
Mm-hmm.
Nike Katana trainer. And
Mm-hmm.
when Steven Smith saw that, he had some things to say. So basically, the sneakers,
Yeah.
like it's the Alpha Fly, the Pegasus, and the uppers are basically designed to look like the classic colorway of the Nike Katana, which was a trainer. I believe it was like in 2002. And yeah, so that kind of got Steven in his feelings. And, you've got like your typical people who are like, yeah, man, like, Nike should pay you. You got your people who are defending him. Nike should pay you. They should be giving you credit and all that stuff. But then you also have like actually a majority of the comments being like, well, this is what Nike does every year. Like they've kind of paid homage to like a classic series from the past. And it's not necessarily just Steven stuff. And it's not like it's a diss or anything like that. It's more of an homage more than anything else. They're not going out of their way to disrespect what Smith has done in the past. And it's more like, hey, like what was it the year before they did like the Alpha Streak or something, or the Air Streak Spectrum? I think it was like
Mm-hmm.
the year before with like the flame graphics and everything. So I just thought it was just an interesting reaction from Steven Smith to be like, just be upset about this for really, I don't know. It just didn't seem like it was like any kind of disrespect on Nike's part.
Yeah, I don't see this as disrespect at all. And the fact that he
Yeah,
even said something about it is shocking, especially considering how long he's been in the industry. So he knows this type of stuff happens all the time. And then furthermore, the outlets that reported on it and tried to make it a big drama thing, they know better as well. They see this stuff happen all the time. They're not, yeah, I was super frustrated when I saw these articles on some of the on Instagram on some of these accounts because they know how shoes work. They know that
right.
Nike, every I was gonna say Nike, but every brand is looking back and pulling references from the past
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
future silhouettes and for future shoes. So for them these outlets to act like, oh, it's this big oh, Steven Smith said this about Nike running out of ideas, blankety 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 blank. Like, no, you know better. Like you're not Jordan complaining about Jordan or complaining about any other thing that has referenced the past thousands and thousands and thousands of times. Like Tinker isn't coming out and being like, "Oh man, they copied the threes, man. That black and red and gray. I started that. I started like get out of here." So I'm disappointed. Like Steve getting in his feelings, that's one thing. Like as an artist, I get that part. Like you get in your feelings sometimes, and you try to forget the context around everything.
Sure,
But
sure.
for the outlets, they have no excuse. Like they have no excuse. Like they already know what's going on, and instead of acknowledging and bringing it up that this happens all the time and making a correction,
Hmm.
like they're trying to. I don't know if they're trying to pacify Steve or if it's all about engagement. They're just trying to get some engagement,
Right,
or they're just terrible judges as what sort of information is newsworthy.
right. Because I guess there's a way to report this, or whatever you want to call it, right? There's a way to put this out there where, hey, Steven Smith said this, but not necessarily for engagement or enragement, right? There's a way to
Right.
put this out there and just say, hey, this is what Steven Smith had to say. You don't have to say, oh, Steven Smith was in his feelings or Steven Smith was saying this. Oh, so what do you sound off in the car? Do you think Nike is ripping off Steven? When you put your kind of spin into it, that's when it kind of creates the frustration for both of us. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, there's another way to educate, the people. Like, oh, it's based on the Air Katana. Let's talk about what the Air Katana was back then. Even I wasn't really super familiar with the katana until I saw it. And I was like,
Right.
oh, that's a pretty cool looking sneaker. I wish they would retro that, right? And then
Yeah.
course, the other comments are like, well, Nike doesn't have any original ideas, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, okay, look at the sneakers that are featured. I'm looking at right now. The Alpha Fly 3, the Rival Fly 4, the Vomero Plus, and the Vaporfly. I think some of those are like pretty cool looking sneakers. They're pretty
Yep.
cool looking runners. Those are new. Like they're just, for this particular design, they're just going back to the past and paying homage to that. So maybe someone could be interested in it. Like it's almost like a Trojan horse, right? Like, oh, hey, I remember the katana. That kind of looks like the katana. Oh, what shoe is that? Oh, the Vomero Plus. Oh, I might be interested in like a future model of that, like a different colorway or something. So it's like you're just drawing from the past in order to get people interested in the future so that eventually when a new model comes out, it's like, oh, I see what they were doing there. It looks pretty neat, even when it's
Right.
not paying homage to a particular model. So, yeah, I just got to say, man, like, people who are up in, I mean, some of it is like, performative, let's be honest. Like, some of the outrage here is just
Oh,
definitely for,
100%.
it's actually almost 100% performative. Like, no one's actually really angry about this, but everybody's just kind of like up in arms just for the sake of it, for engagement and all that stuff. But yeah, there's definitely a better way to let people know that Steven Smith felt a certain way about this, but also there's a better way to let people know that, hey, this is what the inspiration was and what the history is behind it and why it's pretty cool that they used this, in this particular case. Why they use the katana this year instead of, in a particular year or something like that. And I just looking at it, I'm like, I might actually just go get the Vomero. Like I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the Vomeros are nice, but I think like I'm 100% aligned with that. I wish this the sneaker websites would do better. Instead of trying to manufacture drama, like teach the audience something. Give them some insight into Steve Smith. Give them some insight into the designs that he's done or the things that have been inspired by the things that he's done. Don't turn it into like TMZ for no reason.
Exactly. You're right. Absolutely. And for people who don't like, for later on in the show, we're actually going to do another segment on Stephen Smith. And hopefully, maybe even Stephen Smith can educate us on a couple of things that he,
Oh,
knows
okay.
about yeah, exactly. Right. Like let's get him on board with this and it's not necessarily about like from a place of anger and more of a place of like educating us, letting us know
Yeah,
more
teach
about the
us.
work. Yeah.
Teach
Teach
us.
us. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, cool. So keep an eye on that for later on the show. So next thing I wanted to talk about, Jacques, this is actually a little bit closer to my heart. Ronnie Feig is on it again. He's teaming up with Marvel, which he has done for the past couple of years, with the comic book stuff, the trading card stuff. And now he's turning to the world of video games. Ooh, here we go. So he's releasing a collaboration with Marvel, with the
Mm-hmm.
video game company Capcom, and they're doing a collaboration of the iconic fighting game franchise Marvel versus Capcom. So it's a
Uh-huh.
huge kind of deal. It's part of their Monday program or something. I'm not familiar with that stuff, but they're doing like a whole rollout of like you've got merch, you've got gear, you've got like a collaboration with the sneakers with ASICs, and then you've
Mm-hmm.
got video games, like actual video games, which was kind of shocking to me because I was like, oh man, if this is a kid's stuff, this is probably going to be overpriced as all hell. And sure enough, it
Oh.
was. Because part of the collaboration is a Marvel versus Capcom 2 stand-up arcade cabinet, which is
Mm-hmm.
basically features like Marvel versus Capcom 2, Part 1, and a bunch of other fighting games. Now, this has actually been released by Arcade 1-Up for like the past 2 or 3 years or so. They've had like this collection of games and it's had
Mm-hmm.
like this custom artwork. It's pretty neat. Like, I don't know if you've seen like the Arcade 1-Up machines. They're basically like recreations of your classic arcade machines, but just a little bit smaller, like 3/4 the size, 75% of like the actual size of an
Oh, that's
arcade
cool.
machine. Yeah, a little bit more affordable. I have an NBA Jam one downstairs. I've always been like a big fan of those, but yeah, it's just finding the space to get the other stuff. It'd be great. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the. I saw what you did there. Uh,
That's the truth.
uh, yeah, no, yeah, I wish. The Marvel versus Capcom stuff came out. I virtually wasn't able to get it because it sold out fairly quickly. At the same time, I'm trying to figure out where I could put it in the house and not get yelled at for putting
Uh,
it in a particular part of the house. Um, but yeah, no, it's basically just been after this initial sellout, it's been available in different forms. They also did like an X-Men 97 collab with it, where it's
mm-hmm.
basically still the same collection of games, but they've also had X-Men 97 artwork on the cabinet. Now, I think the price for these has been between $500 and $600 for these cabinets. Now,
which is not terrible.
not terrible, but considering the nostalgia factor, the actual library of games that you're getting, and just the joy that you would get with your buddies, who come over to the house, and you get to like relive the old days of
Yeah,
going to your local arcades and playing Marvel versus Capcom. It's kind of worth it for that price. Now, the KITH stuff, again, now they're doing it with KITH. Same thing, custom artwork, but basically the same, library of games. I don't know if there's like an exclusive in there, but they're selling it for $900. And I'm like, oh boy, that is a KITH ass premium if I've ever seen one, buddy. I'm like, woo,
that is definitely a KITH premium. KITH
yeah,
don't mess around.
KITH don't mess around. And you know why they can mess around like that? Because it's sold out.
Yep. And they got a
Because
lock on the space. Nobody
they
does it
got,
like them. They're in a good position, man.
and I absolutely respect it. I don't respect the price because, man, that's out of my range. But I respect the hustle, and I respect the fact that, despite the fact that it's overpriced compared to like the regular cabinets, at least you can see the dedication, the craftsmanship. Like this seems like a really like a Ronnie project where he cares about it, right? It's not just a
Yeah.
slapdash Supreme, slap a logo on it, call it a day kind
Right.
of deal. Because I've railed about that through the years, where it's like with Supreme collabs, even the Mortal Kombat one that came out, which is specifically like basically the Mortal Kombat arcade one-up machine that has just basically the Supreme logo slapped on it. It's not even like new custom artwork. I was like,
Mm,
man, that sucks. That's lazy. I hate that. At least with this one, it's new art and it looks nice. And not
yeah.
extra
It looks
300
great,
$400.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
It
extra
looks great.
300
I love it.
$4 nice. Yeah, yeah. So, again, shout out to that. The other thing that they also made was this little portable handheld, which has basically the KITH logos, plastered all over it. You can also have like, you can play I believe it's like Evercade games on it. Evercade cartridges, I apologize. And it's also got like a collection of like other Capcom games on there, and it's priced, I believe, at like $90, $80, $90.
Hmm.
Um, Now that one is a little bit neat though, because I think the initial allotment has sold out, but you can still pre-order it, and it will ship 6 months from now. So at least, hey, the initial allotment sold out, you can't get it, but hey, we still have these available. They'll be made to order. They'll just take a little bit longer to get to you, which also had me thinking about, why don't sneakers do that? Why don't we have like that kind of an idea in the sneaker world, right? Like, hey, release an initial allotment of we already made these, and then for those who missed out, if you still want it, just wait a couple months and we'll get them to you. Like, I feel like maybe that's something that a sneaker brand could. Not every release has to be like that, but maybe that's something they could try in the future.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they have to do it in smaller numbers
Sure.
for the initial launch, and then they've got to have the turnaround be sooner than 6 months. That turnaround needs to be like what was Nike ID back in the day, like a month, if
Oh
that,
no, yeah,
sometime
yeah. Sometimes even faster. Like the most recent one
faster
that I
than.
did took like 2 weeks, and I was like, "Whoa, that was quick."
Yeah, so I think they've got to have it there
Yeah,
um
sure, sure,
for it to really really work.
right.
At
Yeah, I feel
least the
like that
sneaker
would be,
brands.
yes. Maybe sneaker, like maybe 6 months would be a little bit too egregious for some people. For me, I think that'd be
Yeah.
fair, but I can understand why, especially with the prevalence of like Nike ID and other kind of made for you kind of platforms. I can understand why that would be a little bit tough for sneakerheads. Of
Yeah,
course, then there's the
I would
actual.
not. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Uh, oh yeah, no, I mean, I was just gonna move on to like the actual like the collab itself, like the sneaker stuff, like the Asics
Oh, okay.
with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like it's coming in like this pack of like 4 or 6 sneakers that people are gonna have to like buy the whole pack or something, because the way that it's packaged, right? It's just this big old box, and it seems like it's split into like 4, mini boxes. And man, that's gonna be another pricey thing that Ronnie's gonna drop for everybody. And of course, it's gonna sell out. Um, it's got like your homage to Mega Man, and I believe there's also like an homage to like Street Fighter characters and other Capcom characters. So yeah, again, another successful, I think, collaboration between Marvel and KITH.
Yeah.
It's just, man, these things are expensive, but I guess they kind of have to be to in order to maintain the prestige, I guess. Like, I guess you could call this like prestige, the brand. It's not like KITH has
Yeah.
itself as a brand. So I guess they have to price it this way to kind of maintain that image.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what Kith is, like a luxury streetwear brand, I guess, in a
Hmm.
sense, or a luxury retail brand store, I guess. But yeah, I'm trying to say like they're not. It's not just luxury items, but they're doing like like a whole brand around things, and I think that's where a lot of the magic happens with them and gives them so much control over the stuff that they do.
Yeah. And I gotta say, just seeing this kind of collaboration come together, I'm like, man, I wish I could work on something like this. It'd be nice to just have like that kind of info, just because of like, what, my experience like in the video game world, right? Like, I would be more like nitpicky about like, oh, that sneaker wouldn't work with that or that kind of thing. Just whenever I see video game and sneakers, the worlds collide, I feel like I'm like in this unique space. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that wouldn't work just because of this. I'd be like super nitpicky. Every time I see a video game sneaker
Mm.
collaboration, I get really like super nitpicky. Like when Puma used to do their thing with Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm like, does that really make sense? Puma, does it work? Like Reebok did a thing with Street Fighter, was it like 2, 3 years ago? And like, really? Championship Edition? That's the version of Street Fighter you're going with? You couldn't go with like Turbo Hyper Fighting or Super Street Fighter or something. I get really in the weeds with this kind of stuff, man. Like, it's just a weird thing. Just like, or the different Nike PlayStation stuff where like people just love the Air Force Ones, or they love that dunk collab that they did with Travis Scott, and I'm like, yo man, what the hell
Hmm.
does that have to do with a PlayStation? What the hell does that Nike dunk Travis Scott thing have to do with PlayStation 5? Nothing. It's like a white
Wow.
beige, brown, light brown kind of thing, and it's like that. It just has the PlayStation logo on it, and we're just calling it a day, and we're reselling it for thousands of bucks. It's terrible. You know? Like, I get
Well,
really that's my thing, is like when it comes to like video game sneaker collabs, I like there's a lot of things I don't really necessarily care about when it comes to like all these collabs and stuff. It's like, oh, just let it slide and all that stuff. But when it comes to video games, I just get really like obsessively kind of nitpicky about it.
no, I get that because today I saw, and of course it's going to be gone now. Like, I'm not going to be able to find it. But there's a guy making a sneaker out of pure chocolate, and it's
But
huge. It's like a massive. He made a giant sneaker out of chocolate, and it's
uh,
huge. But he mixed up the Air Force One high and the Jordan One high into like one like amalgamation, I guess, or
oh no,
one
amalgamation,
mass
sure, yeah, yeah,
amalgamation, and it just looks weird. At least it looks weird to my eye. But
sure,
I'm also a sneaker guy, so maybe some people might be like, "Oh, it looks like a shoe," and like,
sure.
all right. I mean, it does looks like a shoe. You're right. You're right. But like, it's
You're
going
like,
for
it's a shoe.
yeah, it's like a high top, and I think they're going they're going for that sneaker energy. Let's be cool, create something that's cool, and then they just happen to blend two different styles. It's more Air Force One than it is Air Jordan One, but the
Yeah.
fact that it's a mix of both of them kind of just turns me off. But I appreciate the dedication and the craftsmanship that it took to get there.
Exactly. Like, there would be people who look at this collaboration, like the kid stuff, and be like, "Oh, I remember playing that game when I was in, whatever, middle school, high school, college, or whatever. I would love to like, get in on that back again." So, and they would miss out on like the little details. Like me, if I had to like, if I was able to get the sneakers, or if I could get the arcade one up machine, like, I would actually like get real nitpicky about it just because of like, my ties to the video game world and all that stuff. So I definitely see, that kind of side of it where like someone who just doesn't, kind of just looks at it casually, be like, oh, that's super cool. Or, oh, that's really neat. A chocolate sneaker made out of that looks like an Air Jordan 1 to me. I don't know what you're talking about, Jock Slade, sneaker expert, but
Ah, I've got to find it. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send it to you so you can look at it while we're talking,
right.
so
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way you don't
yeah.
think
So,
you get what I'm saying. Because I even think
oh, I'm pretty
because
sure
like
I
the way that
would.
you nitpick, yeah, because you
Yeah.
see it, you'll be like, oh, like that. Okay, that does look, yeah, that does look strange.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, now again, shout out to Ronnie, another killer collaboration. But man, be nice to be able to like, well, I might try to get that Evercade thing, although it would take a couple of months to like, arrive. But the arcade one up is definitely the one I was like, oh man, it was just the same price as your regular arcade one up. I'd be like, I might definitely think about it, and then figure out where to put it later.
See, I don't want to do that. I've passed by these arcade one-ups so many times. Like they have them in Costco,
Oh yeah,
and I
yeah.
see them. I see them every time, and I'm like, yes, do it, do it. And then by the time I get to the register, I'm like, I don't need this. Where am I going to put this? I'm not going to play
Have
it.
you seen the bar table one? Have you seen the one that they've got like the Pac-Man? Like you could play it like
Oh
it's
yeah,
on
yeah,
like a
yeah,
table. That's the one. Every
yeah.
time I look at it, I'm like, oh, where though?
I
Where and
keep telling
how?
myself, no, yeah, yeah. That's the thing. It's like, where is this going to go? Don't do it. Don't do it because you're just going to make yourself angry. You're going to spend this money, then you're not going to play it. And it's, I mean, it's cool to be sitting like in the background of videos. Like it'd be dope if I had a little arcade
Yeah,
one up back there of like NBA
yeah,
Jam or whatever it is back there. Like
yeah.
that part is cool, no doubt.
Hmm.
But mm, is it worth it just to look cool in the background of one of my videos?
I mean,
I don't know.
that's the thing is like it's definitely the thing about the arcade experience is that it's a communal thing, right? Like it's not like a
Yeah,
solo thing where yeah, it's fun every once in a while to fire it up and like, play on your own and like, go through whatever, right? Whether it's NBA Jam or Street Fighter or whatever. But the real fun happens when you've got people over and,
yeah.
they have that nostalgia bit again. And it's actually funny now that I bring that up. At the Venetian, at the food court, for whatever reason, there's an NBA Jam machine, arcade one up machine there, and it's just
Oh.
anybody who just wants to play
I'm
can
gonna
go
have to
play it.
go look next time I go.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't
It's at the
noticed
food
that.
court. Yeah, yeah, the food court at the Venetian. It's next to the Scars Pizza, which is also another neat thing that I was like, oh, there's a Scars Pizza there, and of course I had to go get it. I got the DJ Clark Kent, which is what was it, garlic and Italian chicken sausage. I was like, rest in peace,
Oh,
DJ Clark Kent. Yeah, respect. Yeah, no, I had to get
all
that.
right.
So. But yeah, next to it was an NBA Jam arcade one up machine. And sure enough, there's a bunch of people who are, I say a little bit younger than me, just all bunched up into that machine, just playing four players. And I'm like, man,
Ah,
that
that's
sounds like
sick.
fun. I would totally wreck all of you
Yeah.
if I had the chance, but whatever.
Y'all
Let
don't know
the
what
old,
y'all doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
let grandpa here show you all what it's done,
Let
kids. But anyway,
grandpa get out here and show you how it's done.
I was there in
Young
90,
whippersnapper.
I was there in 93 when the first one came out, man. That was when like Shaq was like just killer in that game, man. Come on now. Or I would just be the Detroit Pistons and because they had that secret cheat against the Chicago Bulls where like basically the stats would be tweaked so that the Pistons would win against the Bulls because the designers of the game were like
Mm-hmm.
big Pistons fans. So they would like tweak it every time the Bulls and the Pistons would play so that the Pistons were more likely to win.
I love it. Good guys. Good
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Real good time, good times. Anyways, so moving on to our next thing. Oh, here it is. There's the oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
See
so
what I
I'm
mean?
actually looking. Yeah, yeah, I see what Jacques just sent me the reel. I'm not gonna click on the reel, but I can see the picture and
Oh, even in the
looking at it.
picture. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
the
Even if
thumbnail,
you
the
look at the
thumbnail.
reel, even if you look at the thumbnail, I mean, look, go ahead, and look
Yeah.
through it. I'll just run my mouth while you're doing it. But the guy's really talented. Like, and you see
Oh,
all of the
wow.
pieces that go into it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's not like a small shoe. It's like big, I would say not arm's length wide, but it's pretty big. And
Yeah.
it shows all of the pieces that he put together, how he like did it basically like a puzzle. He was using all of these different tools to make like the perforations in the toe box, and then how he made the shoestrings, and he used spray paint on it, and like all
Yep.
of these different things that really made it come together. And while I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. And then I saw the final result and I was like, oh, no, not that. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? But, not to take anything away from his work. It's just a matter, I think it's, for people that are into sneakers and that know sneakers, you see
Yeah.
that. And while you do appreciate the craftsmanship, you're like, oh, but it's not like, it just doesn't look right. Something's
Yeah.
not right. And even though, it's a cake, so the portions aren't going to be one to one, they're not going to be perfect. And like, I get that part of it. But the mixing of the models with the addition of it being just like weird proportions, you're just
Yeah.
like, it was so close, bro. Great job. Great job.
See,
Seven,
at first you
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Yeah. I mean, at first you look at it, you're like, oh, he's making an Air Force One. Like, because you see the stars, he's putting it on the outsole, like, the outside and
Yeah.
everything. So you see, and as it's coming together, it really looks like an Air Force One. But then, like you said, once actually like the color actually like is finished. He's put all the paint or whatever you want to put on there. And then it's like, oh no, it's a hybrid. It looks like a fusion of the Jordan 1 and the Air Force 1. And you're like, oh no.
Yeah,
No, you
like
were so
please don't.
close. You were so
Yeah,
close.
exactly.
You were so close,
Exactly.
man. You were like, oh, oh man. I hope Jordan Brand doesn't get this idea and be like, hey, you know what we should do? Let's try the fusions again. Be like, no, let's not.
No, no. I was like, maybe they'll see it and they put it at an event. That's
Yeah.
what I want them, have them make the chocolate at an event for them. That's about the
Yeah.
extent
For
of
people
it.
who are wondering how big this is, it's basically imagine it's a shoe that would be built for a statue. Like, that kind of thing, right? Like well, not
Yeah.
even like a regular statue, but like a big statue, right? This would be like the kind of shoe that would be put on like a statue of a giant, figure. And yeah, it looks really well. Craftsmanship, the work, just yeah, I respect it. It's just once it's actually done, you look at it, you're like, oh man, you had it. Yeah, yeah, you
Like it's
almost had it.
fantastic. It looks
Yeah.
great. It looks great until you get to the final step, and then you're like, no,
No.
don't. Oh. But then that's the
Oh
sneaker nerd in me
man.
too.
And just after Halloween, man, when I've already sworn off chocolate again.
Nah.
Now that most of the candy is gone, like, it's either been, given away, like, at this point, you're like, oh, now I'm like, maybe I should go get like a box of those Dubai, like those pack of like those Dubai chocolate things again. By the way, have you ever tried those Dubai chocolates? I
So I'm
don't,
not a big fan of chocolate, so I
right.
have not.
But have you
But
seen
it's like
those?
that's just with
You've heard about
yeah,
those,
it's like
right?
with pistachios, right? It's
Yeah.
just like pistachio. Yeah, yeah. I've seen it. I just haven't tried it.
Yeah. It's basically chocolate with pistachio sauce or whatever in the middle. And every
Mhm.
time I tried it, which is basically like 2 times, I don't get it. I don't understand why they're priced that way. I don't understand the hype behind them because I've heard from friends who are like, they swear by it. It's the most amazing chocolate and all that stuff. And I'm like, did you get
Mm.
fooled by social media? Did someone post a TikTok and said this was the most amazing
And they got you.
chocolate product and they got your ass? Because I've tried it and it's like, it's tastes good. I've tried an Italian chocolate that tastes like this, and there's no hype behind it. It's
There's no hype
basically
behind it. It's like everybody that's on the matcha thing now. Like everybody in the matcha.
right.
It's like,
Like
all right,
pumpkin
I
spice,
get
that
it.
was so to 2020
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
You got to get a matcha, bro. You got to be a
Yeah,
matcha person
matcha.
now. Nah,
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I like my green tea.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly,
funny. Now all
exactly.
the matcha bros gonna be like, it's not the same, bro. All right, I know it's not the same. I get it, but it's a funny
Green
joke
tea's better anyway.
anyway.
Green tea's better
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. I like green tea better anyway. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway.
All right, so moving on to our next thing though, Jacques. Let's talk about our 17-time world champion and one-time NBA Cup champion Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
And they are currently, as of this recording, they've got a record of 7-3, which is pretty cool when you
I like
consider
it.
that there is a particular somebody who is not on the roster at the moment because of sciatica. Because damn, that hurts.
Sciatica. Yeah.
Yeah, our guy LeBron James
LeBron James.
has not been on the roster. Not clear what the timeline is of when he's going to be coming back. Probably sooner than later at this point because what a sciatica did they say was like what is it 4 to 6 weeks or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, they've been doing well, and the calls both on social media and amongst I had actually a buddy of mine say it's time to let go, it's time to trade LeBron. And, before I used to be like, nah, man, why would you do that? Why we gotta let go of LeBron? Why we gotta trade him? I mean, like, you guys, like, most of these people are just haters. They just hate LeBron. Like I said, we've mostly been like a pro LeBron Laker podcast for the most part. So,
Yeah.
but when I heard it this time, I was like, wait a minute. What if they could get something good for LeBron? What is what would be like a fair return for LeBron at this point in his career? Because it also seems like he's also kind of, I wouldn't say he's checked out, but it just seems like, considering the Rich Paul statements and all that stuff where they got to do what's best for LeBron, they got to do what's best for the Lakers and yada, yada, yada. It seems
Yeah.
like the timelines are no longer aligned. And considering how well the Lakers have been doing without LeBron, again, 10 games into the season, anything can happen. It turns out,
Anything.
we do need LeBron, right? you know, like say something
Yeah.
happens to Austin Reeves or something happens to Luca. Oh, it turns out we do need LeBron. But at the moment, let's entertain the idea though. Let's entertain the
Okay.
idea of like LeBron would like to be traded, but there's only a couple teams that realistically he would go to right at this point, right? So
Mhm.
I've looked through the internet and just looked at what's been like proposed out there. And I'm gonna ask you, Jacques Slade, Laker fan, and LeBron fan, let's say, Laker LeBron fan, which of these trades would be agreeable to you?
Okay.
So, all
Okay.
right. So the one place that has really been like linked to LeBron is Golden State. Because
Yes.
there everybody has written the fan fiction of LeBron and Steph teaming out,
And LeBron.
teaming up
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
It's fanfic at this point. Like everybody has like created this scenario in their heads that this has to happen. Like
That it has to. Yeah.
people are trying to speak this to existence. Either Steph comes to the Lakers or LeBron comes to Golden State. And it's more likely that it's LeBron going to Golden State because there's no way in hell Steph is ever going to leave the Warriors at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. He's a warrior for life, kind of like Kobe.
yep, pretty much. Yeah. So the trade that has been proposed out there has been, the promising young player Jonathan Kuminga. He's
Mm-hmm.
kind of had like his issues with the Warriors in terms of like playing time and like the value of his contract and all that stuff. But it seems like he's the critical piece in this trade. Now the thing is obviously the salaries wouldn't match up, so they would have to throw in another big name in there. So obviously it's not going to be Steph. So it's either going to be one of Jimmy Butler or Draymond Green. So it's Kuminga / Jimmy Butler or Draymond. Okay, so that's the first one. The second
Uh,
one is Cleveland. Obviously, that would kind of make a little bit of sense. Another homecoming for LeBron. He closes out the
yeah.
career where it started and all that stuff. So nice story, yada, yada, yada. So there's been a lot of trades that have been proposed out there for Cleveland to send to the Lakers in exchange for LeBron. The thing that I've noticed is, I'm not familiar with every name that's on there, but the thing that I've
Yeah.
noticed through
Yeah.
all of these proposed trades is that it's literally anybody that's not named Donovan Mitchell. So
Oh, of
basically,
course. Of
any
course.
combination of any combination of Cavaliers players except for Donovan Mitchell. So let's say 3 to 4 players in exchange for LeBron, as long as it's not Donovan Mitchell's involved in there. Now the
Okay.
last one is the funny one because it's the Knicks. Because of course the Knicks would love to have LeBron at some point. It doesn't even matter if he's like in a walker or something, like just to be able to fulfill the tease.
Yeah.
Remember the 2010, they had that video when the Knicks were courting LeBron with like Tony Soprano, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Doing all that stuff and trying to get LeBron in the Knicks uniform. So that's the fantasy. That's the one that's wild. But obviously they're not going to trade Jalen Brunson. They're not going to trade all of the other names that they have on the Knicks. So the name that's out there is Carl Anthony Towns. So I don't know if like the salaries will match again. Probably closer to this one. They would have to maybe throw in like a player or two or like a draft pick or whatever to make it work.
Yeah.
So these are the 3 hypothetical LeBron trades. Jacques Slade, say Rob Pelinka calls you and is like, "Hey man, remember that time when Nico like traded me like Luca, and that was like the dumbest thing in the world, and I didn't think it was actually a real thing, but actually it's real. So what if I came to you and one of these GMs was like, "Hey, we would like LeBron, so we got these offers on the table. Of these 3 hypothetical trades, which one, if you had to do it and LeBron wanted to go, it seems like everybody signed off on it, which one would you go with?"
Um. I. So all 3 of those are good. Honestly, every
Okay.
time I think, oh, I want to do this, I think about another one. Let's rule out Warriors. Let's just rule that one out. Let's get that one out of the way. As much as I think people would love to see it, I don't know um if it makes sense in the story arc for LeBron. I don't
Okay.
know if playing for the Warriors is part of that story arc. I think he's already had that portion. That part of his story arc is already over when he went to
Sure.
Miami. I think like that storyline, that subplot, so to speak, has been resolved. The only subplot that's left open technically is New York. I
Hmm.
think that's the only one that if this was a movie and, we got to the end of a movie, we would always wonder like, oh, I wonder what happened there to that part. Like
Right.
that's one thing you
Right.
remember. But then Cleveland would be the good way like to button it up. This is a Hollywood movie,
Right.
happy ending sort of thing. So it'd be between New York and Cleveland. And I don't think like the happy ending is the most logical, but I think the New York one is the most engaging of them. So I would say, as a Laker fan, I don't want to see LeBron go.
Sure.
This is more of a from a LeBron storytelling perspective. Then
Sure.
I would say probably New York. Even though he's just going to end up disappointed because you know how they can never win a championship. So that's just part of it. That's just part of being a New York Knick. Like you're not gonna. It's like being a Clipper. You're not gonna win a championship.
You had to
Just
do it. You had to
it's
do it,
just
didn't
I'm
you?
just if we had to make comparisons, I'm just saying I'm not. If we had to,
Wow. Did you compare
compare
the
them,
Knicks to the Clippers?
I'm just saying as far
Wow.
as like playoff records in the
Ladies and
last.
gentlemen, let the record state that Jacques Slade just compared the New York Knicks, one of the most iconic franchises in NBA history, arguably the most valuable franchise in maybe all of professional sports. He just compared it to the Los Angeles Clippers, who are currently embroiled in a scandal right now. Shout out Steve Ballmer.
I'm just saying the Knicks haven't seen the finals in a very long time.
In a very long time.
Neither has the Los Angeles Clippers. So in that way, they're alike, at least in my opinion. I think New York would be the most engaging, and would
Right.
probably be the most fun for LeBron and for the
Mhm.
NBA as a whole. I think people would be excited to see LeBron in New York.
Mhm.
But if we want a storybook ending, it's gotta be Cleveland. Again, this is the LeBron perspective, not a Lakers perspective.
Right.
If it's a Lakers perspective, I think we take Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga as
Yeah.
Laker. If it's like that, I think that's going to be our best play as
Right.
far as making sure our team is stacked.
Yeah. I feel like basketball wise, I think, yeah, Butler and Kuminga would fit in right nicely here in LA. Also, we just get the added factor of Jimmy Butler being here in LA. I think the comedy potential there would be great. The idea of like him teaming up with Luca also just opens up the possibilities of just comedic factor, just because,
Oh,
there's just
Butler and Luca.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And of course,
Oh
there's
yeah,
also like
yeah,
just Coach JJ and Jimmy Butler. They were already teammates. I think was it in Philly, and that was already comedy. So there's that too. I wouldn't want Draymond
yeah,
here though. I would have like it has to be Jimmy Butler, not Draymond.
yeah. It has to be Jimmy Butler. I don't know if Draymond is a piece that we need as a Laker. If I was like
Nah,
in charge of strategy for the Lakers, I don't know if Draymond is a piece that we need.
younger
Not
Draymond,
again,
sure. Younger
younger
Draymond, I think would
Draymond, yes.
yeah. This Draymond, I don't know so much. The Carl thing, I think would just be now that we would have like Carl Anthony Towns and DeAndre Ayton here, I feel like that would frustrate a lot of Laker fans just because of they're not like the rough and tumble dudes. They're more of like finesse dudes, and every time they would like they wouldn't grab an offensive rebound or not box out or whatever. I feel like that would just cause a lot of like stress for a lot of Laker fans. So I don't think that would be
Yeah.
worth it. Um, the Cleveland thing is interesting just because of like what names. Again, I'm not familiar with everybody on the Cavaliers, but I feel like if you could get a good amount of like young talent in for LeBron, sure, why not? But yeah, as of right now, I think the best basketball wise for the Lakers maybe would be Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga. But for me,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, LeBron maybe going home would be like the best thing for chaos purposes. LeBron going to Golden State would be hilarious. Like the Knicks thing is fun and all,
Yeah.
but I think it's just funny that he never goes to New York just to kind of just complete the cycle of like sadness for Knicks fans.
Yeah.
But him going to Golden State would just be God, everybody would hate that. And I think it would just be
Oh,
funny.
everybody would hate that. Oh,
Everybody
they
would
would
hate that.
hate that.
It would just be sheer insanity. If you guys thought the whole LeBron in Miami era was crazy in terms of like coverage, boy, ESPN would be losing their minds if LeBron
Oh
ended
my
up in the
God,
Warriors. Yeah.
they would
Thank
lose.
God. Thank
They
God
would
we have the
lose it.
Thank God we have the NBC Amazon guys now to kind of balance out like the hot takiness of it all. But yeah,
I
no,
could see
Shat.
Perk.
Oh,
I could see
Perk.
Perk having a brain aneurysm right now.
Stephen A would be like, he would both be upset and also happy because he's got a year's worth of content. He's got like
Yeah. Oh,
not even years plural, actually. He would have so much stuff to say for a good solid 3-4 years just talking. Like Steph and LeBron could both be retired. He'd still be talking about it. He'd be like, I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
believe this all.
yeah. Steve, they could leave and he'd still be excited about it.
He would still have something to say about it. You're like, Stephen A, they're both in the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame now. Why are you still
they've been
bringing it up?
retired 5 years, bro. Calm down.
Why are you still bringing it up, man? But anyways, yeah, just I feel like there's a little bit louder whispers about a LeBron trade. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. I doubt it's actually going to happen. But for the first time in LeBron's tenure here in LA, I was like, what if it did happen? And what will be like the possibilities? So
I don't know if I want it to happen.
sure.
I don't know if I want it to happen though. Yeah. I mean, we got to do something with that salary. We got to get that salary off the books somehow, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Just got to get the right players in place.
exactly.
We need another star. LA needs a star. Like if LeBron leaves, we need someone to back Luka up. Another star for Luka.
I mean, Austin Reeves is kind of on his way. Like, but I know what you're saying. Like, you don't have like that mega star kind of quality, right? Yeah, you're looking for that kind of thing. So I understand. Yeah, totally. I don't know if I would trade Austin Reeves to get that kind of megastar though. Seems like he's stepped up huge. So that's a non-starter. Like any trade. Well, I want to say any trade for Austin Reeves would be a non-starter, but I would say most trades for Austin Reeves would be a non-starter at this point because he's really stepped up this year.
He's
All right.
big time balling.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we're almost at the end of the episode, Jacques. But before we go, it's time for everybody's favorite sneaker segment. It's Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus time. Shout out to everybody who commented, voted on last week. Oh, for the past couple weeks, really, like really appreciated the commentary and all that stuff. Yeah, I get it. Like for the Dodgers thing, we could have picked the Dunks. A lot of people were kind of saying, "Oh, why don't you pick the Dunks, bro?"
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Yeah, but Kobe's there."
right.
Like I get it, I understand. That's the uniform, the Dunks. The Cortez. That was another one that I noticed. I was like, "Yeah, I get it, I understand." But it's Kobe. Like I'm not gonna not pick Kobe. So that's kind of
right.
It's kind of
that's how that goes. Sorry, guys. Sorry disappoint you.
Kobe over everything. We're basketball guys. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Right.
Kobe over everything. But anyways, for today's Secret Mount Rushmore Plus, in honor of Stephen Smith's little tiff, I guess, earlier today.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't want to we're not aggregating here. We're not like trying to make it a bigger deal than it really is. But, he just had a bit of a thing to say. So in honor of that, which is a weird thing to make it in honor of, let's do the Stephen Smith Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus. So,
okay.
Like we said earlier, Stephen Smith has had a long storied career through sneakers, basically worked with every brand under the sun. So this allows us to create a very varied Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus this time around.
That's true. Like,
definitely a lot of brands represented here. So we're going to kind of go through like semi-chronological order, I guess. This is as best as I could do. And for the sake of people in the comments and maybe even Stephen Smith coming for us and saying like, no, that's wrong, I just went with the ones that have been at least verified by a couple of prominent sneaker outlets and news outlets that he has actually worked on. Obviously, we know that Smith has worked on a lot of different sneakers through the years, whether it's like he was like the lead designer or he had a hand in a couple of different products. For example, he worked on the Vapor Max, but which Vapor Max? Was it the initial of the first Vapor Max, or was it like another model or something like that? Or was he like the key, instigator to pushing Vapor Max? But whatever, there's not a specific model that he's definitely credited to. So, it's that kind of thing. So we're just going with the ones that he has obviously been credited as the one who designed it, like lead designer kind of thing. So if Stephen Smith is out there, he gets a hold of this, he sees this, he says, "Hey, I worked on other things. Love to have you on the show." or we'd love to actually let's do a Rushmore with Steven Smith to see what he would think about something like this.
Oh, there
But
you go.
anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Steven Smith, come on the show. Um, but for us, for our purposes this week, we're going to go with the categories are New Balance, Reebok slash Fila. No disrespect, but that's just, his
Yeah,
tenures
makes
there
sense.
were his tenures there were like, shorter in comparison to the other ones. Nike,
Yeah.
where he was there for a pretty decent amount of time. Yeezy, and then a wild card at the end, which is basically we should go back to any other category and just kind of go from there.
Okay.
All right. So who went first last week? Did I go first last week or did you go first last week? I forget. Oh
I
wait, no,
think you.
I went first last week, so you have the honors.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
Okay.
right. So then this week, if we're starting off with New Balance, I'm going to start with what's currently, I would say, one of my favorite sneakers. It's the New Balance 550.
Mm-hmm.
It's the old school vibes of that, like that old school basketball low top vibe
Yep.
has been like, it's kind of like locked into my brain right now. It's imprinted on me in a sense. And so
Yeah.
I just really, really enjoy it. They've also made it into a golf shoe. So that also wins points in my book. But if I had to choose any New Balance that he's done, I think the 550 is the one that most fits my sensitivities. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Absolutely. Absolutely. And 550 blew up. Was it pandemic? Was it right before the pandemic era? Or was it like right
Yeah,
in the
right around
pandemic?
that pandemic, right before there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like it definitely grew in terms of like size and stature. And to this day, people still, buy it. Like definitely it's not the height that it was during like that era, but it's definitely been a staple. It's definitely been like
Yeah.
an ongoing concern for New Balance ever since. So
Yeah.
definitely
Agreed.
good pick there. For my pick, I'm gonna go with just because I'm not super familiar with the 1500 or the 997, I'm gonna go with the
Mhm.
574, like the most dad shoe of dad shoes. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the 574. I remember when New Balance first started sending me sneakers, and the 574s were like a lot of those sneakers, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, I'm not the biggest, just not. Yeah, like, those were, definitely given to a lot of my friends, during that era, during
Uh,
that time.
I
When they
get
start
it.
when they started sending the 900s, though, I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, good times." But the 574s, just because of their stature, their, cultural significance, fact that basically everybody has a pair of those, and I mean,
Mhm.
like, from sneakerheads to pops to uncles to everybody in
Yeah.
between has a pair of 574s. If you see when people think of New Balance, probably to this day, they still think of the 574s. So that's still the
Yeah.
primary shoe that comes to mind. So yeah,
They were
definitely gonna go with the
super popular.
absolutely, absolutely. So we'll go with the New Balance 574 for my pick. For Reebok slash Fila, I'm gonna go with see, I'm not the biggest fan of the Instapub Fury. I understand that it's beloved in the culture, especially among the older heads. Like they just have a special place in their hearts for the Instapump Fury. But I have a special place in my heart for Grant Hill signature shoes with Fila. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Fila GH2, the one with the patent leather on the yeah, one of my favorite basketball shoes of the '90s. Definitely something I appreciated during that time. Never had a pair originally. Got the retros later on. Like was it like in the like especially like it was the 2010s or something.
Yeah,
So
I think I got a pair in the 2010s too. I didn't have them originally.
when it was rebranded as the 96 when they didn't have Grant Hill on board again before
Yeah.
that. So but yeah, I loved those during that time. There was a time when Fila was actually killing it. Like you could
Yeah.
actually be like, "Oh man, look at that. Grant Hill's shoe." And Grant Hill was like the coolest dude. Like just
Yep.
that guy. So and to know that Steven Smith actually had a hand in it, because obviously I didn't know during the 90s that he did, but to learn later on that he did have a part in that, I was like, man, respect. Absolute respect to that.
That's
So
dope.
I'm gonna go with the
Yeah.
Fila GH2.
All right. So for my number two pick,
Yeah, the
I'm going
Reebok
to go
Fila Fila.
with Reebok Fila. I've got to go with the Instapump Fury. Just I've been infatuated with the pump, just the process, the thought of a pump since early days when I was young. So I definitely have a soft spot in my heart for anything that pumps up, any shoe that pumps up. Makes
Sure.
me feel like I'm going to play better or jump higher. probably not true logically, but in my brain, it's still that impression's there. Moving on to my number 3 pick. Now, this is where it gets interesting because I would say visibly, there's a couple of shoes that he's done, but the Vapor
Yeah.
Max is the most visual one that I had really high hopes for.
Oh,
And
here we go. Yes.
it just did not perform the way that I thought it was going to perform, which made me very, very sad. It's such
Mm-hmm.
a good looking shoe, such a cool
Mm-hmm.
looking shoe. But it just didn't have the tech. The tech wasn't what the tech appeared to be in my
Yeah.
brain.
Mm-hmm.
The expectations that I put on the Vapor Max did not, they just didn't perform the way that I thought they were. So, all right, there's mine. I'll
Oh,
leave
so
it
you're
at
still gonna
that.
go with the Vapor Max?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were doing that whole thing to like pick something else. I was like, oh, okay. Well, he's
No, no, no. I'm
obviously
gonna go with the Vapor. No,
obviously
Vapor Max. It's honestly, I feel like it's a really beautiful shoe, but
agreed.
it just didn't do it. Just didn't do it.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, like the Vapor Max, same thing. I think I had the same thoughts as you. I still remember that event when like I saw the Vapor Max for the first time and thought, man, these are like one of the coolest looking things I've ever seen. And then I put them on, and I'm like, why is it so snug? Why doesn't it feel like what I thought it would feel? Um, I was a little heartbroken that night. And then when Nike
Yeah,
sent it to me, I was like, yeah, thanks, guys.
yeah. It's what we want. It's like what the Vomero Premium and
Ah, fair.
the Pegasus Premium is like. What they feel like is what you
Mhm.
thought the Vapor Max was gonna feel like.
That's a good point. That's absolutely a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Vapor Max was definitely like, you had this thought of like, this is going to change the game. And nothing
Yeah,
was changed. Absolutely nothing was changed. It was like, great idea, great aesthetically, beautiful. Absolutely just, if you just on looks alone, it was like, man, just an amazing killer shoe.
yeah. Yep.
Then you put them on and you're like, oh, damn, this is not,
This
not,
is not it.
this is not it. This is not it. So, well, since you went with the Vapor Max, I wasn't going to go with the Vapor Max anyways. I'm actually going to go with the Shocks Monster. Again, this is one of those
Okay.
things where I had to look it up and I was like, wait, which one was this again? And yeah, man, like I've always had, again, I have a soft spot too for pumps, but like that particular, the Inspo Fury. I've always had a soft spot for Shocks just
Mm-hmm.
because the Vince Carter commercials, the whole boing, the whole thing, and just
The
putting
whole
them on.
boing.
Yeah, man, like, and just putting on those shocks themselves. I think it was like the R4, but I also had like these pairs of like ACG adjacent shock shoes that was like gray suede and everything. And I can't find
Mm-hmm.
it for whatever reason, but anyways, I love shocks. Like I've always loved the tech. They were pretty comfortable. It wasn't the most comfortable thing in the world, but I've always
Right.
loved the novelty of those pillars. The look of the shocks and everything. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Agreed.
with the shocks monster for my Nike pick. Now
I
for
like that.
Yeezys, yeah. Now for Yeezys, as somebody who has owned a grand total of one one
Really?
Adidas, one Adidas Yeezy, and I didn't even
Oh
pay for
wow.
it. It was a turtle dove. Yeah, no, it was the turtle doves. Yeah,
Oh
it was.
wow.
I'll tell this story now because it's been over a decade. The person who was working at the PR at the time, this was like when the turtle doves, like it was the 350s. It was like the biggest thing in the world, right? I just got like, where was I? I think I was like at a hotel somewhere, and I got a text message from the person who was working at Adidas, like, "Hey, don't tell anybody, but I'm sending you a pair of the Turtle Dove 350s. Do not, do not tweet about it. Do not say anything about it. It's on the way." And I'm like, "What do you mean it's on the way? Like it's like on the way?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then I check my notification, like I check my thing, and it's like, oh shoot, it's already at the doorstep of my house. What the hell? Like you tell me,
Oh
like right when
dope.
it's there. And I had to make the drive because the box was like not necessarily the most secure looking thing when the box showed up.
Oh.
So I had to drive from wherever I think I was in LA, or was I in Anaheim or in LA? But basically I had to drive all the way back home just to make sure I got the package inside the house. because
Oh,
you never know sometimes, right? Like, thank goodness, I don't think I've ever had like a package jacked from my place.
yeah.
Um, but that was one where I was like, when I got home, I was like, oh no, this was not the most well packaged thing. If somebody just decided to just go for this, and they would have been like, at the time, they would have made so much money if they had jacked this from my porch.
Yeah, at
But
that
yeah,
time, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, the first Easy 350 is the turtle dove. So that was the first one. But that was not Steven Smith designed. I just wanted to tell that story because who else when I gonna tell that? For my Yeezy pick, I'm gonna go with the Wave Runners, the 700s. Just because I've never been like a biggest fan of like a lot of the Yeezys, really the Adidas stuff, but the
Hmm.
700s, decent,
Yeah.
pretty good, pretty good, pretty as Larry David would
Pretty,
say,
pretty good.
pretty good. So yes,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
go
Those
with
are good.
those.
Those are a good pick. I enjoy those. I have a pair here that I wear every once in a while, so that one
Yep.
definitely wins. All right. So for my last two, for my Yeezy, I think you have to go with the foam runner. Like it is
Mm,
just like that shoe had a lock on like the youth and the kids for a while.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
regardless of what people thought, regardless of what old people thought, regardless of how they looked, like they had people were locked into the foam runner.
absolutely. Yeah,
And then for my wild card, I'm going to go with the 1500, the New Balance 1500.
yeah.
Now, this one to me, it feels like another version of the 574. Like it has that
Mm,
574 language, I guess, to me. And so like that one always sticks out to me. It's always kind of had a soft spot for me when it comes to the New Balance line. Maybe not the most comfortable, but it definitely it reminds me for some reason of the 574. Like they have a similar language, I guess, for lack of a better word.
yeah. But yeah, no, I respect it. Like I said, I wasn't familiar with the 1500, so I was like, it's fine. No, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
like
just not
it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
fine. But yeah, no, the phone runner is a really good pick. Yeah, no, definitely people had that. There was like a lot of kids definitely were like into phone
A
runners. Like
lot of people.
I feel like a lot of that energy though has been transferred to Crocs. Like a lot of those
Yes.
people
Yep.
graduated to Crocs, or whatever, laterally moved,
Yep.
graduated, whatever you want to call it. But after they kind of got tired of their phone runners, they moved to Crocs. So for my wild card, Steven Smith now currently works with Crocs. And so the first thing that I guess the first product that he has dropped, or I think was it a Complex Con? They actually dropped it.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so it did release. Okay, so I'm gonna go with that just to like have something new on the list.
Hmm.
I
I like
guess it's
that.
called the Rox Ripple, which is another foam based speaker, whatever you want to call it, sandal, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. But I'm sure when it actually gets a more wider release, it's probably going to be another hit for Crocs. I'm sure
Yep.
when that drops, like people are going to be all over that shoe, and it looks pretty neat. I'm not sure it's something that I would wear personally. Like I have more of a because I have a pair of the Salehi Bembury ones, the Crocs Salehi
Hmm.
Bemburys, the Pollux, whatever it's called. I like
Yeah.
the design of those better, but I can see why the ripple would be a huge thing. Like whenever that gets a wider release and more colorways, it becomes more of a general thing. I can see how
Yeah.
that is going to pop off once that actually gets a wider release. So yeah, I was gonna go with the katana just because of like what happened today, but I was like, no, we'll go with Crocs. So we have like brand variety on here, so we're not like just picking the
Brand
same stuff.
variety. There you go.
Yeah, totally, totally. So yeah, this is probably like the most varied list we've ever done, probably in terms of
Yeah.
like
It's the most
pairs.
versatile for sure.
Absolutely. And that's a testament to Steven Smith, one of the
Yep.
greats, one of the legends. So, yeah, if he gets a hold of this, if he hears about this list, he wants to say this is BS, let us know. And we would love to do another redo this with Steven Smith. Absolutely freaking we would actually do that. So,
Yeah.
let us know
Learn,
what time it is.
see what his Rushmore is.
Let's see his
Yeah.
Rushmore is and how we'd be like, man, we don't know jack. And plus, he would just let us know, so we could also know actually what else he's worked on that maybe had just fallen through the cracks and we just didn't
Just
know
falling
about.
through
Like,
the
hey,
cracks.
do you
Yeah.
guys know that I
Yeah.
actually had a hand in this particular thing that you guys didn't even know about? But like, yeah, no, we didn't. Let us know. Let us
Yeah. Let
know.
us
So let's
know. I love that.
form
Yeah. That's a good idea.
instead of enragement, instead of engagement and all that stuff, educate us. let us know.
Educate us and let us educate the audience. I love that.
Exactly.
That's the perspective we need to have.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, with that in mind, that was episode 62 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. Again, I'm your co-host, Juan Martinez, and now Jacques Slade with the shameless plugs.
I am Jacques Slade. Thank you guys for listening. Would love to get your votes on your Mount Rushmore when it comes to shoes that Steven Smith has designed. And also, I would love to hear what you guys think about the drama side of social media when it comes to sneakers. Is that helping the community, or is that making things worse? Or are you just indifferent about it at all? As always, make sure you like and leave comments and reviews and all of that good stuff. If you want to reach out to us by email, it's toohardtopasspodcast@gmail.com. That's the toohardtopasspodcast@gmail.com. The number 2. I'm Jacques Slade. That's Juan. We appreciate you, and we'll see or talk to you next week. Peace.
We out.